I'm out of town, thuggin' with my round. My coochie pink, my booty hole brown. Where the niggas, I'm looking for the hoes. Quit playing, nigga, cause that's a bitch soul. Pound town, just left pound town. Look, my nigga, he just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dick a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out. Pound town, just left pound town. Let my nigga, he just took a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga dick a bitch down. Yeah, that nigga eat me out.
Yo, DK.
I'm out here in Miami.
DK.
Looking for
Ready to
the
go?
Gucci daddy. Where the niggas that get ratchet? Where they at? My son need a new pappy. Too many bitches. Where the niggas at?
Hang on.
I'm trying to get my coochie.
Oh my god, come, turn off, okay. How long were you there for?
Long enough. All I did was just go and get a string cheese.
Oh, shit.
In the heart of Texas, two dudes making noise, talking about pro wrestling on the podcast. Big up boys, big money guys, we be throwing down the rhymes, kicking it live, representing the Lone Star State every damn time.
Whoa, what's up, everybody? Welcome to round number 8 of the Ring Rundown. What's up, SP?
We're round number 9 this week.
Nine.
Round number 8 last week.
I'm sorry, I meant to say 9, but I said I suck. We all know this. But, what's up, man?
How's it going, man? How you holding up on today's a hot day, man. It's a Saturday here in deep Texas, and it is hot.
I left to go see the movie Trap earlier around like noon, and I forgot my OLED TV on, and I shut the door, and we turned off the air conditioner while we were gone. So I came into this room earlier, and it felt like just a hot box in here, and it's still pretty hot. It's still taking a while to cool down.
Yeah. So what'd you think of Trap? Me and the missus, we went and saw it on Thursday night, opening night, and we dug it. We liked Josh Hartnett's character. He just had that perfect, I don't know, the way how he had the kind of like shaky, trembly voice at times, and trying almost kind of like a switching of personalities, and the looks that he was giving his facial features throughout that whole movie, man. That was definitely pretty creepy, a good creepy role for him.
I think he did excellent. Like, I loved him in the movie. He was so awkward, but like, you know, that's the character he was playing, was an awkward guy, serial killer. I thought the movie just had some pacing issues. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, like I thought it was good. It had good parts, but sometimes it felt like it was dragging on. You know what I'm saying? A little bit.
Yeah. To me, I felt a little cheated because to me, it didn't have that classic M. Night Shyamalan twist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you look at like all of his other movies, Signs, Bruce Willis is dead. The Village, it's a group of people who won the lottery and wanted to resort back to 1800s way of living. Unbreakable, Sam Jackson's character turned out to be a domestic terrorist, you know? So those are classic M. Night Shyamalan twists. This one I felt like really didn't have it.
I mean, you definitely knew what you were getting, even from like the previews. But that's probably one thing they probably shouldn't have let you know, like from the trailers, that Josh Hartnett, his character, I forgot his name, like I forgot what his name is in the movie. They shouldn't. I think that would have been a good Cooper. They shouldn't have let people know that he was the killer. Like that's something you had to go see the movie to find out. But then again, that could have shot them in the foot because people didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I see. So doing the trailer the way they did it was a good idea. However, maybe that's kind of where the twist is in the trailer. You don't know if, like, you think, okay, the whole entire movie is going to be them just at a concert. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was figuring.
No, there is a secondary location in this movie. We're not going to say when because, you know, or where it is because, you know, the movie just came out. So we want to give at least people a week to see it. I'm sure people have probably already spoiled it. I mean, hell, they were dropping Deadpool and Wolverine trailers later on that opening night on Thursday. So people just suck, man. You know,
Yeah.
give people a chance to go see the movie. before you just go and up and spoil it for everybody.
I thought it was good. Like with M. Night Shyamalan, he's either hit, miss, or weird. Like his movies are either hit, or they're a miss, or they're weird. This one was okay. Like I dug it, but like I said, it just kind of seemed like it drug on for a while there.
This one I'm gonna have to go ahead and kind of put right in the middle to mid to just right lower, just right below mid. I think I'm gonna have to say probably favorite one out of his films that he's done is that's actually going to be a tough one.
I have to say Split,
Sixth Sense, or Unbreakable. I think we're
Unbreakable was great, or Split. Split I thought was a masterpiece.
Split I wouldn't necessarily declare as a masterpiece, but I think what a lot of people weren't expecting because movie had already been out for the longest time before I actually even saw it. So I already knew what the ending was, that it was going to be a part of the Unbreakable series. So I already went into it
blind. I didn't know
that.
I actually saw. I freaking hollered when I saw Bruce Willis. Like, and but the only like Glass or whatever, I wanted that to be. I wanted them to fight more, and I guess I know it's not a punchy superhero movie. That's not his intention. I get that. But I wanted to see them kind of go head up a little more and fight a little bit more. I thought we could have a little bit more. That was my only problem with it.
Yeah, maybe they could have gotten to the three-way battle to the death a little bit earlier than what they did in the movie.
Yeah, I wanted to see. They just kind of struggled. Like it kind of happened in the background. I wanted to see them, the what's his name, the Legion and the guy, like Bruce Willis's character, actually have a pretty like decent fight scene, just give us a little bit to satisfy us. But I get it, that wasn't his point with the movie, that wasn't his intention. So it's not a Marvel movie, I get that, and he didn't want it to be a Marvel movie. So but enough about movies, let's get to what we're here for, man. Some wrestling.
Yeah, what do we got? Round 1 on round 9.
Let's see, we got Val Venis is pissed, man. So apparently his website, valvenus.com, has been
trademark abandoned for quite a while. So somebody actually went and purchased the rights to valvenus.com and turned it into a support site for the LGBTQ plus community, which I think is hilarious because
that's top tier trolling right there.
As we discussed on a previous episode, Val Venis is a transphobe POS.
Yeah, and I mean that whoever did that's top tier trolling right there. That's funny as hell.
Yeah,
they are a genius whoever did that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, why he can't get mad? I mean, he let it expire. He let it go dormant, so that's on him. So
yeah. So it's a guy by the name of Matt Kuhn, and you can find him at Matt Kuhn Music on X or
he has
Twitter.
A podcast. He had a podcast.
Does he?
Yeah, he had a wrestling podcast.
So apparently it was him that bought valvenus.com. Because he posted about a little less than a week ago, I got legally threatened by the former Val Venis, and then in parentheses, trademark abandoned today. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. His name is, and he gives the name of his lawyer. Val Venis replied, "Bring it, Matt Kuhn. Don't say I did not give you the opportunity to make things right. You are malicious in buying and using my business name, for which I use and have used and built a reputation around for over 25 years. Tell your lawyer to call me today."
Yeah, I didn't realize it was Matt Kuhn.
Yeah, so he quote tweeted it saying, "Dear ally, thank you for your interest in valvenus.com, your home for friends and supporters of the LGBTQ plus community. We will get back to you as soon as we can. We appreciate your support in the fight against ignorance and hatred. Matt Kuhn," and then valvenus.com at the very end.
He had a wrestling podcast with, remember the guy at the shore, Robbie E? It was him and Robbie E that had a podcast. It was called, but Robbie E, they quit it because Robbie E signed with the WWE. so he couldn't have his podcast anymore. It was called While It Lasted or something like that. And they would get like different guests, like wrestlers you don't hear about anymore. Like, you remember when AJ Styles, his tag team partner in WCW, Air Harris,
Air Paris.
Air Paris, they got him on there just to say what he's been. It was a pretty good podcast. That's funny that it was him.
Nice, yeah. And so, of course, Val Venis replied back saying the Val Venis name has never expired because it was never registered with the government agency. WWE abandoned their attempts to register the name I had been using for years due to my refusal to consent. This is protected under common law. I am unequivocally stating that I do not consent to anyone using my business name, Val Venis. Then he directly mentions Matt Coon. Consider this your final warning. Your actions to harm my business reputation by illegally and maliciously using my business name, and then in quotes, or Val Venis brackets, sorry, will result in severe consequences. I'm demanding you voluntarily hand over valvenus.com domain to avoid legal action, for which I will also seek damages, attorney fees, and court costs. Disagreeing with my political positions is one thing. Deliberately attempting to damage my reputation and usurp my property and rights is a grave matter and will be met with the full extent of legal action. And he has 2 images of his paperwork that he has to declare that he owns the name. So that is just hilarious. And apparently there's even another update. I think what you have there is somebody from Paris, France, did something with the name as well too. And Matt Coon, actually, he's like, all I did was just spend $12 to get the domain name for the website. He's like, if you have GoDaddy, I will gladly transfer it over to you. He's like, you put in the real work. So
that's funny.
I think this is hilarious.
But it could get ugly though.
Hilarious.
It's gonna get ugly. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, that's some top tier trolling right there. Is what that is. Yeah, I didn't realize it was Matt Coon. Like, he was pretty good podcast. I know he had gotten some stuff, not really bad stuff, but like, I know he got pissed for a while because once he tried to keep the podcast going once Robbie E left, and it kind of fell apart. But
oh yeah, I'm sure it is. I mean, that's like losing like your tag team partner,
Yeah,
something that you've been accustomed to doing. But, and I mean, it's WWE. I mean, they've had their rules set for outside third party platforms on for you to make money. If they can't get a cut of it, they don't want you to have it. However, that could possibly change. Now that possibly has changed underneath the current Paul Levesque Triple H era. So
we'll see. But yeah, that's hilarious. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what's gonna go on. So I mean, that was hey, he got caught slipping, so that's on him.
Yeah, I mean, if the trademark has been abandoned, then you can't, because I mean, you got to pay every so often to be able to have that trademark. So
I know if you don't pay every so often, I know like it's every couple years you have to keep it re-upped or whatnot. I think the the Winnie the Pooh, that trademark has expired and people have been doing crazy shit with it, like Blood and Honey and stuff. I know that's one of them that they didn't re-up and people have been using it.
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah,
that was
Steamboat
the next
Willie
one.
too.
So a lot of people I think are calling for a horror Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, so I like that. Blood and Honey was terrible, but it was so terrible that it was good. Like, I can't explain.
Exactly. I love those kind of movies.
Yeah,
movies that are just
C-rated,
extremely, but they're done really well, like actual good film quality style, and a production that they put into them is top tier to where it makes it look like it should be in the theaters.
I think it was good enough to where they're actually doing a sequel now. So
they are, and I think in this next one they're gonna introduce Rabbit, I believe.
Oh, well, it's cool. I'll be waiting for that. But let's get on to our next topic. It might be outs for Mr. Bryan Danielson. Title versus career. They're going to be taking on each other at All Out and
All In.
and Bryan Danielson. How dare you correct me? And Brian, thanks for not letting me sound like a dumbass. But Bryan Danielson pretty much said if he doesn't get the title at All In, then he is gonna ride off into the sunset. So I watched the promo, and it was interesting. So what do you think is gonna happen?
His contract was expired as of August 1st, which was just this past Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday. And he is definitely going all in from that little pep talk that he had with Jeff Jarrett the following week. He figured no better way to go all in than putting everything on the line. So this is where a lot of people are kind of curious if this is making it a sure guarantee that Bryan Danielson will win the title at Wembley, or if they could pull a swerve and have Swerve retain. Now, obviously, we know the litany of injuries that Bryan Danielson has suffered, unfortunately, being in AEW for the last few years. But the man's going out there and putting on classic clinic matches. I mean,
yeah, he's putting on some hellified matches.
He's definitely been putting in the work.
So do you think he's just maybe tired now? It's time to,
Well, so he made a promise to Bree, as he mentioned in this promo, and his daughter, that when his daughter turned 7, he would stop wrestling full time. So pretty much he's, obviously he's going to be going on a contract extension for the time being. Depending on what happens at All In, we're either going to be saying Bryan Danielson riding off into the sunset, or we will see a contract extension going on for however long Tony decides he wants Bryan Danielson's reign to go on for.
I don't think the guy, he said the key term in there is full time. I don't ever see this dude quite leaving the business all the way. I think it's too much in his blood. But
I think
he is getting a little age on him. So
that's what I was gonna say, is that they'll probably use him sparingly to wrestle matches, like if there's nothing else to go on or something like that, he'll step up to when needed. But are you kind of putting him kind of in a shoebox just by doing him that, like, oh crap, we need to save this show, here, put Bryan in a match, So I just don't want him to go part-time and then them just use him whenever they need to build something up, or like they have to make his part-time valuable. They need to figure out when is the right time to use them, when we need to.
So, do you think he could maybe do a potential return? I do think we'll see him in a WWE ring before it's all over. I do think he may end up there, maybe on a Legends deal or something, but
I don't know.
I do see him maybe stopping by the WWE and working there a little bit. But, I mean, time will tell. We'll see how it goes. So, I personally think he's not winning at All In. So,
yeah, I don't know. I could see both sides of the coin, whether, they have him win it, and then however long, they decide that they want him to hold the title for. And then I could see him, just kind of taking the best route possible. That, yeah, he's banged up and he's hurting, and he's, talking about pain shooting down his arms and stuff like that. They could just determine that he
and Swerve is
cannot,
just
for his health.
Swerve is just such a good champion.
Swerve's been a great champion, and he knows how to walk that line of babyface / heel.
Cool heel, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that cool heel who's portrayed as a babyface and comes out of the babyface tunnel.
I could see him definitely being, champion a long time. So I don't, and I could be wrong. You never know. This is wrestling. You never know.
Exactly.
And so I see him retaining. That's my, That's my hypothesis here. So, but we'll just have to see. Like we always say, we just have to see how it plays out.
Just have to see what happens.
All right. All in other AEW news, DMD and MJF got into a spat, and Britt Baker is now suspended. What can you tell us about this, man?
Yeah, so apparently per Wrestling Observer News and Dave Meltzer, I believe. Let me take a look. I want to get my sources correct. Let's see. Wrestling Observer News, Dave Meltzer. So yes, I was correct. Apparently, Britt had said some things backstage.
So this this is a shoot. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No. She is legit suspended.
This is a shoot. A shoot. Like this is not a work.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. This is shoot. This is like legit.
Okay.
She is legit
I wasn't
suspended.
sure about that. All right.
Yeah, because apparently let me see. In regard to made about comments about MJF's girlfriend Alicia Atout, who is also a professional wrestler as well, and she got word back to MJF, according to other sources. I'm not saying that these are reliable sources, but witnesses are saying that MJF either barged in or knocked on the door and was granted access, but apparently it caused them to get in a little face-to-face altercation, and via this new championship committee that is formed to kind of help resolve backstage issues, they determined that Britt was the aggressor in the situation, and she has been suspended. So I believe it's either for 1 or 2 weeks. I believe it's 2. So this could kind of be concerning whether or not she goes over Mercedes Moné at All In for the TBS title. So depending on the results of what happens at All In will determine how this conduct affected her.
Well, she just needs to realize this is not high school. This is a professional locker room. So you might want to watch the things you say and to who you say them to. So,
well, not only that, but did you ever watch that After the Bell or whatever it was, the little kind of like little behind the curtain thing that AEW was doing?
Yeah, I remember on TNT.
It was kind of,
or TBS.
Yeah, it was on TNT. No, it was on TNT. It was like, I believe it took place like right after Dynamite.
Yeah.
But I mean, Britt has talked quite a bit of trash about people backstage. I mean, they even showed it on the show, all the smack that she was talking.
So in other words, she's a mean girl.
Kind of a mean girl, it sounds like. Yeah. She was talking all sorts of mess about Thunder Rosa, why she couldn't show up to tapings, even though she was rehabbing her back and stuff like that. And so there's definitely appears to be some animosity between Britt and Thunder Rosa. I mean, they've had a history of having some verbal altercations about matches and stuff. So,
well, I mean, she needs to probably chill out. I would suggest. I don't know if MJF is he is the top guy, one of the top guys. So, and I mean, she's top talent too, but I don't know if I would necessarily want MJF as an enemy, at my workplace, if you get what I'm saying.
I mean, you shouldn't have any enemies at your workplace, but I know, egos get in the way and differences on things are gonna happen. And I mean,
she has no business talking about the dude's girl. That's not cool.
No.
But well, hopefully when she gets back, they can figure this out. Yep. And yeah, it might affect her going over Mercedes. So we'll just have to see how that plays out, like we always say. But yeah, good. I mean, I hope cooler heads can prevail in this situation. So
that's all we can hope for. I mean, we don't want to see any issues arise anywhere, but unfortunately, disagreements, they're going to happen. It happens anywhere you work. So
hopefully they can figure this out and, move on from it, but we'll just have to see. Now, next up, everybody's favorite, Mr. Logan Paul, is in hot water because he had some choice things to say about an Olympic event with a boxer.
Yeah, so The woman in red, obviously, she does appear to have mannish features. However, and the blowback came obviously in a tweet that Logan Paul made about abuse, biological men stepping in the ring with women for any sort of event is disgusting. And if you uh, condone this type of behavior, you're disgusting as well too. However, it has been determined and fact checked the fact that no,
She's a
she
woman.
is a biological
Yeah.
woman, born
I
that
think a
way.
lot of
She
people
just
jumped the gun.
happens. She just had, yeah. A lot of people definitely jumped the gun and automatically went to women versus men. Um, especially men transitioning into women. Um, so it definitely caused a lot of controversy. However, she is one of a rare condition that they say it's roughly 1 in every 80,000 women have a medical condition where they are born with X and Y chromosomes.
Yeah,
That
so she
means
probably
they
just has a
have,
little more like man
so they
testosterone in her than a normal woman, but she's still a woman. So
right. She has the female genitalia. She has the fallopian tubes. She does not, though, have the ovaries. So she will not be able to have children.
Hmm.
She still has everything else, along with all these other 80 to 86,000 women. The ratios on this are kind of reflected, or aren't necessarily the most accurate, but this is their rough estimate.
I don't know how
One
true.
and
I don't know how true this is, but another argument that, like another thing that's evident that she's not a transgender female is that apparently, and I could be wrong, but I heard in her country it's illegal, from what I heard. So
yes,
okay,
yes, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. A lot of people jump the gun on this and open their mouths when they shouldn't have. So
And that's why it's important to do research on if you're going to attack somebody
fact check for sure.
on this type of issue, because yeah,
It's not a good look.
um a lot of this has become a hot topic issue, especially in the world of politics lately.
Yeah.
And obviously it creates other issues as well too, as where are
Definitely divisive.
definitely very divisive. And I know you and we discussed this before, so you can't necessarily, I see where you're talking about biological men not, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, these trans women, are women. When they're transitioning from male to female, they're taking hormone replacement therapy, so they're replacing their testosterone with estrogen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well.
in the whole term of men are stronger than women, if you're replacing yourself with estrogen, then you're kind of saying, okay, well, if men are inherently stronger, then them taking the estrogen is therefore making them weaker. So how can they have the physical muscle advantage over someone born
I'm just talking
female?
about specific cases where they probably weren't. Like I've seen where a dude was a military soldier and went straight to being an MMA fighter within like 6 months and transitioning, and just within like 6 months, I'm like, come on, you know what you're doing there. But I don't care about it. Like when it's just I have a question about it when it's like combat sports. You know what I'm saying? Not so much any other sports.
But again, if you're getting into any kind of combat sports, football, basketball, hockey, baseball, something like that, again, they're replacing their testosterone with estrogen. So if men
Maybe.
are inherently stronger, then they're going to be taking the estrogen to replace the testosterone. Therefore, that kind of makes your point invalid. You know what I'm
Maybe.
saying?
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's a thought of how long they've been taking it. So I don't know. It's a very divisive thing. You know my feeling on it. There's sometimes I agree with it, sometimes I don't. I don't know. It doesn't matter what I think, but it's just, hey, This was a woman,
It
and they
is
jumped the gun, and it's a bad
if
look.
if that what they're doing is not personally affecting you, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's the way I kind of look at it, even though a lot of times I don't agree with it, but I'm like, that's just me. So I don't care. They can, if the girl agrees, like whoever they're facing agrees to it, then that's on them too.
yeah,
So,
and even her opponent, the one that lost and quit after 45 seconds,
oh yeah, she
she
cracked her
she
boy.
she made an apology. However, it was kind of I'm sorry I got caught for acting the way I did. Like it was an apology, but not a true legit apology. You know, it
Yeah,
was one to save face.
divisiveness.
Like,
So
you know what I'm saying? Is like she could have looked at, okay, who am, you know, so I don't know. It's,
she got cracked though, boy. I know that. But
yeah,
well,
heard. So going off of this topic, this is going to go into our topic of discussion, which is the case of intergender wrestling. Obviously, intergender, you're mixing men versus women, women versus men. It's essentially the same thing back and forth.
some of
So
the best matches one of the best matches I ever seen was at Wrestle Circus. It was an intergender match. It was Tessa Blanchard versus what's his name? I'm a machine. Crap.
Brian Cage,
Brian Cage. That was one of the best matches I had ever seen, and it was an intergender match. She did like mid-air adjustment Hurricane Rana. Like he went to power bomber off the top rope,
uh-huh.
and she reversed into a Hurricane Rana like mid-air. Some of the craziest, like just and I've seen other good intergender matches. I think it's perfectly fine.
A lot of your indie wrestling companies
Yeah.
are gonna partake more into the intergender style matches. Now, of course, we have seen them pop up periodically throughout WWE, WCW, NWA, TNA.
Well, it makes sense.
Occasionally in AEW as well too. What promotion was
Triple
it
A
that?
does them a lot. Triple A, there's
Yeah, I've seen
yeah.
AAA, but was it AAA wrestling that have like an actual legit intergender tag team belt?
I think
Because
so.
Sammy and his wife Ty, they actually won those belts and featured them on an episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, I know they've been
Once or
Triple H's been
twice.
doing it for years. Like they've been doing like on every card almost. They'll
And
have an
isn't
intergender
and
match.
doesn't New Japan feature those as well too? Or over in
Yeah,
Japan?
I think they do. I mean,
'Cause I
all I
mean we
know is
talked
I've been
about
watching
like,
Triple A since I was a little kid, and I remember intergender matches like when I was a little kid. Like they've been doing it for a long time, and women are taking it. They look tough, and it's some hard hitting matches too, and they roll with it. So,
oh, they can be. I mean, yeah, I mean, we've seen them
Lady
again going back
Apache.
to WWE. I mean, they did it. China versus Chris Jericho. China versus Eddie Guerrero. We've seen Molly Holly going in the ring against, I believe her cousin her cousin Crash Holly. She's taken on, men in WWE as well. You had Sable and Mark Marrow. They fought against each other. So my question to our listeners is, do you want to see intergender wrestling featured more on weekly wrestling television, or are you fine just seeing it kind of in the sporadic areas where they have been doing it lately? Let us know.
Yeah. I remember like one of the best I remember when I was a kid was Lady Apache. She used to do them a lot. She used to wrestle and she would take some hits, boy. And I don't know if you know, but like the AAA, from what I hear, the ring in AAA is not like the rings over here. It's hard as shit. I've
Oh,
heard from a
I'm
number of
sure they
people.
are. So when I lived in California, I can't remember if we talked about this on the show, but there was a wrestling promotion up in Northern California outside of Hayward or in Hayward called APW, All Pro Wrestling. If you don't know who they are, watch that WWE documentary Beyond the Mat, because they're featured in there, and they had a female wrestler named Cheerleader Melissa, and she would do intergender wrestling matches as well too when they would come down to where I lived, and she I could see kind of being like a little miniature Tessa Blanchard, because she would go in there and mix it up, but she was also when Awesome Kong debuted in TNA wrestling, she was the first version of Raisha Saeed.
Um,
And I believe she was also featured in Lucha Underground as well too,
yeah, I know who
as
you're talking about.
a mass superstar.
But another person that's really good with intergender wrestling, what Gargano's wife,
Candice LeRae.
yeah, she would actually do better with men because she did moves with men that she couldn't do with women, like because they'd be able to twirl her around and stuff. She'd do all those twirls, and like the men would be a good base for it, so they would twirl her around,
Yeah.
and all the different head scissors and stuff like that. And I remember that's what something that she excelled at was actually like I even heard her in interviews like she rather face men because she can do more with them because they were a more sturdy base at times that she can do the spins and all that stuff. But I haven't seen her do it in WWE, but I remember like in the indies she would take 90% of the time she was taking
yeah.
a man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of indie companies, promotions, wherever you live, they'll feature at least one or two on their card of an intergender match. I think it would be dope to kind of start to feature it more on weekly television.
Yeah, I mean, when it makes sense by storyline sensibility, so I wouldn't mind it. But we'll just have to see. Let us know if y'all agree with if y'all like intergender wrestling or not. So, and if you don't, tell us why you don't. If you do, tell us why you do. Next up, where we going next? We're going to the Hardys.
Yeah, let's go Hardys.
All right, so I think this is inevitable. We're gonna see the Hardys back in WWE. I think that's inevitable. I think that's where they're gonna finish their career together in WWE.
So obviously they are in Cleveland this week for SummerSlam, which is tonight. Which actually we got the pre-show going on right now.
So let's wrap this up.
Yeah, we got about 14 minutes before SummerSlam starts. So yes, apparently the Hardy Boys were seen in Cleveland sometime during the week, seen talking with WWE officials. So yeah, it is promising that we could be seeing the Hardy Boys finish their career in WWE. But again,
I think it's inevitable.
You've got to think, like, is their tag team roster already overbloated as it is, where they're having an issue trying to properly book some of their tag teams?
So maybe I'm thinking maybe they can work out a deal, maybe just a Legends deal. I would like to see them on, but also it'd be cool to see them still stick around TNA. But TNA and WWE are working together, so I think that's a good possibility. Maybe just a Legends deal with the WWE to do appearances.
And apparently Joe Hendry
he's full time at the Performance Center. He's been training full time.
He's just seen been popping up the last few days at the Performance Center. So I believe he's one of the few wrestlers who have gotten the okay to go train at the Performance Center. I believe Jordan Grace is another one who got the green light to be able to go do so, and that makes sense for her. I mean, she's been featured in 3 WWE pay-per-views now, 2 Royal Rumbles and NXT Battleground. They're
saying, I've heard it was like officially like he is full time now at the NXT Performance Center, so that's interesting. I'm glad to see it though. I'm glad to see that we have we have TNA and WWE. It's something I always want to see them working together. So my question is, when are we gonna see Big Moose turn up in NXT ring? Well, let's focus on the Hardys here. That's for another time. But I think it's inevitable that they're gonna end up back in WWE. There's no way that they're not, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially the fact that Matt popped up in TNA wrestling, no contract, free agent, and then his brother follows suit, So, and now the fact that TNA and WWE are both underneath the same umbrella and TKO group, I had a feeling it was going to happen as well
But
too.
the only question is, do they still trust Matt? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Jeff.
Jeff, yeah. Do they still trust? Like, do you think that could be mended? You know what I'm saying? I think it's a possibility with Triple H at the helm, but
if it's the case, they're gonna have to do something for his contract, like what they did for CM Punk. They got to put it in like,
as soon as you
look,
screw up, you're gone.
Something. They got to do something. They need to start holding him accountable. I mean, he's had way too many chances with WWE.
We've had a whole discussion on that.
He's burned. Yeah, we had our discussion with him in regards to Jeff Hardy when we had Class on.
I'm surprised they even let him back in TNA because I mean he ruined a whole pay-per-view main event. So I don't know. Can you imagine the people that paid for that and that shit happened? I would ask for my money back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I would have left. But I mean, if it was the main event, you were going to be leaving moments later anyway. So
they should have refunded people like half the ticket for that shit. But
something.
Yeah. We'll have to see. I think it can be repaired. I think we are going to see the Hardys in there, but they're definitely Triple H can be like, look, dude, this is your last chance. If you screw up, if you're caught drinking and driving or anything, or come into this arena and you're drunk or high or whatever, it's deuces, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I would be, and if I were in that chair, in other words. Speaking of, and this is the opposite, people having meetings like the Hardys met with WWE officials. Apparently, Tony Khan and Shane McMahon had a little meeting. This is interesting. We may actually see it happen. I didn't think it was going to happen, but it
Yeah. So apparently, obviously, AEW is doing a bunch of Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, stuff like that, along with ROH tapings in Arlington for their Road to All In. And on one of those days, somebody took a picture of Tony Khan and Shane McMahon in a meeting in one of the business rooms at the Arlington airport. So it is looking more and more like a possibility we may be seeing Shane McMahon having some sort of influence in AEW, either as a possible on-screen character, possible authority figure, or just kind of like a financial backer, maybe kind of like how Dixie Carter was for Jeff Jarrett and the early TNA days. I mean,
so from what I heard, a lot of the things that they talked about, and we're never going to know everything, but they talked about the kids. They talked about the state of the business. Shane said he likes what he's doing. So they definitely had to have some discussion about, hey, you want to do something? I would like to see Shane maybe head up a stable, maybe former WWE guys or something, kind of like an invasion. I think that would be cool.
I can see that, but again, you got to figure if this happens, you need to be precise in the type of role that Shane is going to be doing, that he cannot overstep his bounds in his role, because we all know the reason why he kind of got canned after 2022 Royal Rumble is how he positioned himself in that match.
Yeah, he does like the spotlight. Nobody can tell me any different.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, is that if you're Tony Khan, you need to be very precise. Like, okay, we are joining forces and you are kind of helping us out financially. However, this is still my company with my father, because I'm sure his father is helping, out with AEW as well too. But that's besides the point. But however, we need to make sure that this deal is going to work beneficially for both of us. So we need to have you doing just one very specific role until we feel that we have another place for you. You need to follow these lines. Because if we get a Shane McMahon, like,
they gotta put him on TV. That's for a fact. They're gonna have to put him on TV.
They're gonna have to, but again, you gotta figure out where to.
Yeah, maybe like him and Chris Jericho. Let's see, get Matt Cardona up in there. Get him on a little couple time deal like he did all the former WWE guys, and kind of put a little stable. Some of them that are not really doing much. Maybe
I don't know. it's something that's just gonna have to be thought about.
Yeah,
Like,
they'll
you
figure
know,
something out, I'm sure.
yeah, because I mean, it could be very predictable with your whole, WWE, WCW
Yeah,
invasion angle 2.0. It's
yeah. I would like to see
they
it, but
just need
toe a
to
fine
figure
line.
something. Yeah, something will definitely need to be figured out, laid out, and stuck to. So
It definitely
I think
it'll shock the system. I'll tell you that much.
oh yeah, it definitely would, and then just also think about the exponential opportunities that will come out of this deal for AEW.
Yeah. So, well, we'll just have to see. Hopefully, I think it's probably gonna happen. I guess they're gonna have to talk numbers, but from what I heard, they didn't lock on anything at the meeting. It was kind of more of a casual kind of thing they had going on. But I mean, it definitely that might have planted the seed for something to happen. So we'll just have to see. What else do we got here? You ready to move on? You have anything else you want to say
Yeah,
about this?
I'm good.
Okay, and we have a local TNA show coming up Friday, September 13th, and it will be Victory Road and Impact in San Antonio. I'm going to go. I haven't got my tickets yet. I'll be honest. I went to buy my tickets and I looked at my account and it like, that first check of the month, all the bills get paid with that check. So I was like, I'm going to have to wait till Wednesday till I get my next check.
But yeah,
rent, electricity, and all that.
So yes, Impact Wrestling San Antonio is getting a TNA pay-per-view plus a taping of Impact Wrestling, man. And my wife, she was quick to jump on those tickets, and the 2-day ticket package is essentially $100 per person. You cannot beat that, dude. That average out to $50 a day. To where if you were to just buy a single day, you're looking at about 65 to 75 top.
So I may have to get a little loan from somebody. Loan me like $100 until Wednesday, maybe.
Don't look at me, man.
broke. No. I'm talking about like family. But yeah, so I'll probably end up getting, or I may just I hate using my credit card. I may just put it on my credit card.
That's what we did.
And go.
We'll get it paid off. I get paid this Friday, so that'll get paid off.
Supposed to be quickly for emergencies, and I think this may be an emergency. So, but yeah, I'll probably end up going ahead.
Yeah, man. So for people in the Austin or Texas area, San Antonio area, man, if you're a fan of wrestling, man, it's been 12 years since I've been last to a TNA Impact show, and that was back when I lived back out in California.
It's been about that long for me. I went to one in Baton Rouge, and I think the Aces and Eights were still like a big part of the show at the time. And
yeah, when I went, Robert Roode was your heavyweight champion. Joe and Magnus, aka Nick Aldis, were your TNA tag team champions. Jeff Hardy versus Kurt Angle. We got to see the Pope. Victoria or Tara, sorry, I should say Tara. I've got a program, and I think the program is up on one of my shelves. But I got a 2-pack, TNA AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy, and Jeff, you could if you bought it, it was like $75. But you got to go backstage and have Jeff Hardy sign the back of the card on the figs.
I did the meet and greet too. I remember I met Bully Ray, the Cowboy James Storm, Robert Roode. I can't remember who else. There was more, but I was a little let down because I wanted AJ Styles and AJ Styles wasn't there, so I was kind of like, damn it. But it was a good time either way. It was right there in Baton Rouge. And Velvet Sky, she was there too. Got to meet her. It was a good time. Who else was there? The Motor City Machine Guns, they were there. I don't think they.
Speaking of Motor City Machine Guns, there are words and rumors and speculation potentially deal have been signed for them going to WWE. So they will not be going to AEW as first previously thought. They will be going over to WWE.
That's cool. That's a good thing. And I can see them also maybe working at the Performance Center too. They would be good for that as trainers. I think what's his name? What's the one's name? I know he was kind of semi in NXT for a little while. I know he was with he did his Time Splitters tag team with what's his name, and I didn't even know Alex Shelley. I think he did a couple matches in NXT. So, I mean, I think he'd be a shoe-in.
Sorry, I got to cut you off. SummerSlam is officially starting, and Jelly Roll is in the ring right now performing his song live. And I think that was our last topic of the day.
So we're good. Let's go. I got to see this. I love me some Jelly Roll. But, all right, ladies and gentlemen, like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, and our topic of discussion, I actually found our notes for next week, is wrestling injuries more prevalent and doing more shows or less shows. So once this episode is up, guys, comment, let us know, man. We definitely want to start engaging more with our audience, man. I know I got a lot of people subscribe to our channel, man. So please, anybody listening, anybody watching,
leave a
let
poop
us know,
emoji
man.
at least.
Interact with us, man. Give us a poop emoji, smiling face, head explosion, something. Like, just let us know, man. Let us know.
We need that engagement. Help us kickstart that algorithm. We need to kickstart that algorithm. But yeah, more shows to come, y'all. We're gonna be doing some stuff here soon. Like I said, we're gonna be at the TNA event. We have a local show that I'm gonna be going to here in Waco, Texas, and so more to come. So what else?
Yes, I've got some footage to upload as well too. Just haven't had time to sit down to be able to edit it. So, but it is coming, guys. That is the hardest part. But anyways, for Dropkick Zombie, I am your boy SP, keeping it east side till we die. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Good night, everybody.
We two loony guys catching knives with our hype talking